John Osborne here. Let's do the FX Education Outlook for August 3rd, 2017. First, I wanted to point out that we have the non-farm payrolls in the morning at 8:30 Eastern Time, so keep in mind that that can swing the market. So we did see some surprising amount of movements late in the day today on Thursday, but we still want to anticipate an unknown event that's going to push the markets one way or the other. We know what time the event's going to happen. We don't know the results of that action and what the impact's going to be. So we just want to lay off on it, taking trades until that passes. After that, you can, as long as we're not overextended in certain directions. We'll start out with looking at the US dollar Swissy. You can see we came down, hit our target, and we've pulled all the way back up, and we've been watching this trend line right here to see if we'll break through it. We're just kind of consolidating on the other side of that. The euro pound had that big move, and one of the big movers that I was talking about here, we went up and actually hit our target after doing a little bit of a consolidation here. Notice that our Bollinger Bands got pretty tight through this area right here, and suddenly we just made this pop right up through the previous pivot here, and again up to target. So well done on that. The pound US dollar, we've come back down and retested this previous pivot here. You can see we've got this trend line as well that we came pretty much close to that trend line and just riding back up again on that line. So let's watch what happens here. Again, we're waiting for the news for tomorrow. Also in our bullish portfolio, we've got the euro US dollar still moving higher nicely. And that one's got quite a ways to go if we continue to move in that pattern. You can see on the monthly chart, we've got a ways to go. If we look at our daily chart, we've got to go back a lot further than what we're showing here to be able to find previous highs. So all right, and the Aussie US dollar, you can see we're doing a little bit of a consolidation here and breaking through the low of the previous swing here, but we're still within a consolidation range. This is also after we hit target, so it's not surprising to see that we are getting that consolidation, and it's right about where the 200 bar moving average is on the weekly as well. On our bearish portfolio, we're still bouncing off after hitting target here on the US dollar loonie, and we're kind of just settling down here after making another attempt to break higher. You can see we went and touched the top of our upper Bollinger Band there and then came back down towards this previous line that we had drawn here. So you can see we also are sitting right on this previous pivot support and then the 200 bar moving average here. So let's keep an eye on that one, see what happens. Similar action here for the pound loonie, and that one also made this big move back down and right to that trend line, interestingly, again. So we're just retesting that line. This looks like it's definitely returning back to a bearish mode right now after making this little run up. But this big move here, it looks pretty small in the daily picture, so we have to wait for this one to continue lower before taking any further action on that one. The US dollar yen, we've been watching it walk on this trend line here, this one by the dotted lines here. It went up and touched the 1 standard deviation lower Bollinger Band and then moved back down and broke through that line. So now we're seeing increased bearishness here. What we can do is watch this previous pivot here and see if we can come back up and retest it. You can see we've already broken that previous pivot. That weakens it enough so we could be watching for a resumption when we get on the other side of there. First target in that case will be the bottom line here, which is currently at 109.363. In our consolidating markets, you can see we're still in a consolidation pattern here on the pound yen, even though we made this big move down. So we'll be in this consolidation pattern until we hit this 144.013, which we can see on both these charts. For the Aussie yen, we did break through the 87.484, and so went up and retested that, and we're moving down, but just in a little bit after market activity here, we are starting to see a little bit of a move back up and retesting again. So let's wait. Remember, we still had the non-farm payroll data ahead of us. Let's just wait a little bit. You can see the long wicks coming up on the weekly here, indicating that we're likely to see continued, maybe a little bit of pushback on that. So let's watch for that. And finally, we've got the Kiwi yen, and this one is sitting right above this support. And if you look closely here, you can see we went right down and tagged that line almost to the tick. So let's see what happens here. It was retesting this broken older line, and we're now trying to move back down towards this point. So let's watch what happens as we have non-farm payroll tomorrow morning. And until next time, have a great rest of your day.